Today on episode 158 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, our NCAA Tournament preview, Team Builder, and the TCF Top 3 of Throwback College Basketball Uniforms. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 158 of Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure to catch us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like. For all of our content in video form, head on over to YouTube and subscribe to our page there. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. Subscribe, rate, and review if you can. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get them, we are there. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF, but also make sure to follow the gentleman that I'm joined with tonight. We got Zach at ZLiliaTCF. And, of course, Maddie is back, as we promised last week, at schools_01. Boys, we jumped the gun last week. Zach and I declared winter dead, and it most certainly was not. Mother Nature took that personally and snowed like 48 hours later. So how you guys hold up?
That's what happens when I'm gone. You guys let this shit get off the rails and start making bold predictions that you shouldn't make.
Yeah, we didn't have Maddie's level-headed
reel it in here, boys. Whenever it's a light February, March punches you in the face. You know that. Come on.
It still wasn't much, though.
It was unexpected, and it stunk.
It is very true because it was very, very close to my floater being weatherman. Because these forecasts lately were a fucking joke. It was like 6 to 10 inches 2 weeks ago, and barely like we got anything. Then the following week, last weekend, it was supposed to be like another 4 to 6 inches, and it's like nothing again. So I don't know how you can be that bad.
There's a great
much snow to nothing.
There's a great bit that comedian Lewis Black has about weatherman and what the word meteorologist means. So if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. But you're right. It does look. I'm not going to make any predictions here. It looks like we're in for some rain this weekend, but it's not. The 30s might be behind us. Knock on wood, anyway. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's go ahead and jump into things, fellas. We've got our sinkers and floaters. And I'll get started with my sinker. It sucks. It's not one I want to talk about. If you follow me on social media, I talked about it. And it's pets. I had to put my first dog down last week. So that sucked. Not how I wanted to start the weekend at all. Shout out Barkley. We had her for 7.5 years. And not much of an emotional guy at all, but I cried like a baby for about 3 hours on Friday. So sucks, but you know what? There's
we had to do that a couple months ago, dude. It's the worst. It stinks.
And like I've had one other dog like on my own before. I grew up with farm dogs and stuff, but like it was different when it's yours, and especially like I never had a dog that long. That's for sure.
Yeah,
having to do that, man. That was not fun. But got to remember the good times, right?
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Absolutely.
It is wild what dogs in particular can do to humans.
Oh, and I think I made this comment
they
to
bring
you.
out of people.
Yeah, exactly. I made this comment, Zach. I think it might have been to you, but like I probably cried more Friday than like I did when like people I know have passed away. And somebody said, "Well, yeah, sometimes your pets piss you off less than people you know." And so it is true. You made a good point there, man.
But we'll move into my sinker, which is not going to make Boomy very happy. Aaron Rodgers. This guy. He's already making demands to a team that he's not on yet, but won't make a decision. Everyone's waiting. Today,
he's made his decision. He's just got to drag it out because that's how cool.
That's the problem I have.
When you're listening to this today, he will be on the Pat McAfee show. I think at like noon Central. So I don't know if that's when he's going to make his decision. I don't know what's going on here.
It's turning into LeBron at the fucking United way, dude. You know what?
Trey Wingo.
At least LeBron did it for charity.
Trey Wingo said he was traded. That was
Trey Wingo
crazy
thing
that
was
you
a
would just.
joke.
How would you throw that out there without it being 1,000,000% true?
I respect that move. That set Twitter ablaze. That was funny to watch.
But I don't think he did it to be funny.
That was the girl. That was the girl in front of the burning house meme right there.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression that I got. But no, like it is annoying. It's just like we all know what's coming. Just get it over with. But like, you're right. Entering that
Trey Wingo of all
that
people,
LeBron
dude. Like, this guy's
territory.
such a clown as it is.
And then the follow-up tweet, with the Castellanos drives the ball to left field, and like he played that well. It just set the internet on fire.
Aaron Rodgers tweet. What was that?
Yeah, dude, you're gonna hurt your brain if you try to figure out what he means, dude.
Weird dude.
The ayahuasca. That's all.
Yeah,
he's a weird dude. So you wouldn't expect less from this guy, who's the last 2 to 3 years has made everything about him. But trying not to make it about him is what he says.
While making it more about him.
I'm glad you brought up Rodgers, Zach, because I want to ask Boomy in an honest moment. Like, at some point as a Packer fan, all the jokes aside and all the prodding from Bears fans, it does have to get completely obnoxious at some point.
Oh, dude, you nailed. Like, I've kind of been like mentally like he's gone. Like, I accepted this. Like basically at the end of the season, and like the fact that it just keeps dragging and dragging and dragging
is fucking the organization over now.
That's my problem. And like I get from a player's side, like he probably he wanted some things done a couple years back with more weapons and wide receiver, and then passing up on so many different draft picks and stuff. But like at the end of the day, dude, like you're at the end of your career and you're just doing this to be a pissy little brat. So like just move on. Like I think. If you ask nearly all Packers fans right now, like we don't know what we have with Jordan Love. Let's move on, see what we got, and so we can stop doing this little two-step that we're doing. Seems like every year for the last 3 years. It's just like, dude, let's go.
You can't keep holding the franchise hostage at this point. Like it's But I hope he does. I hope he keeps doing it on the other side of it.
I'll be excited when he announces on McAfee's show on Wednesday.
I assume that's got to be where it's at. Between him and AJ Hawk being,
yeah, it is what it is.
Am I up?
You are up.
All right. Well, I just want to make a point. That sinkers, the ultimate sinker, in my opinion, I think now is preseason rankings in college sports because. I don't know why they do them. It's just stupid, and I think it's hurtful to teams, and it sets people up for failure, and it's not kind. So I think teams should not be ranked in the preseason any longer because you just need to let the season play out. And I don't think
you're setting people up for failure.
Yeah, it's just not kind. Like at some point, we just need to be nice people, and so preseason rankings for no reason should not be published any longer, in my opinion.
Maddie's leading the charge, like you said, though, for no reason in particular.
None. It's that, dude. I'm sitting here watching this Pitt fucking Mississippi State game, and Carolina lost to Pitt twice this year, and this fucking Pitt team is god fucking awful. And
they're not good.
So it's one of those things. I'm almost glad that they didn't make the tournament. Solely because like you can't bring this same team back. Like they're not going to come back. Like this same roster, there's something wrong. I saw rumors on the internet that I know we don't have we don't have a Pat McAfee audience for our podcast, but there's certain things I just don't feel comfortable throwing rumors out that I saw on Twitter. But if they're true, there's some really bad shit going on between that team and the players and like the off the court stuff. So even if half of it's true, like it's problems, and you can see why maybe people weren't invested in the games the way you'd hope.
Do you think it was kind of a coward's way out and not take? How do you feel not taking the NIT bid?
I don't think there was anything to gain by playing in the NIT. This team's not going to get better, and this team's not going to be the team next year. I mean, you've already seen Justin McCoy transferred out. You've already seen Tyler Nickel transfer out. I get like the look of it. The look is bad. because it's you're too good for the turn. No, I mean you play those tournaments and you accept those bids because you think it's going to make your team better. That's not going to make this team better. This team needs to just some time apart, in my opinion, at some point.
Yeah,
Well,
I think teams.
The Wisconsin game, and nobody's at the game.
There's nothing to gain for that. Like if it was a young team full of freshmen and sophomores, like fine, then like because they did go the year that it was McCants, Felton, and Sean May's freshman year. They
like
did go.
03?
It would have been 04-3. Yeah, it would have been 03.
Yeah.
They did play in the NIT that year. And it was a team like that's got young players that needs to try to gel and learn the game. Sure, get more experience. This team's veterans, and a lot of them are going to be gone. So I don't think there was any point in continuing it.
Yeah, I think teams learn from that whole. Remember when Kentucky lost to Robert Morris? In the NIT?
Yeah. Do I remember? That was what got me Tyler Hansbrough's like on Twitter this year.
Matt's got that date circled every year on the calendar.
So. When they lost to Bob Morris, it was great.
That was wild. Zach, any thoughts on the Tar Heels?
No, not really.
Yeah.
There's none to have.
There's nothing left. Team. They weren't very good. Unfortunately,
it was a carcass of a team. Hey, they sold their soul for last year. Last season was every bit of a national title that wasn't a national championship, and they pissed that away too. So it's like, last year was a great year. I can't ask for much more than that. Then if that's what I had to pay for last year is give up this year, then fine.
Now, as a UNC fan, you just want to make sure Duke loses early.
Yeah, let's go Oral Bob.
Yeah, Max A. Smith.
There's 3 bets I've made already on the tournament, and one of them involves Oral Roberts plus 5.5. Just gonna say.
Fair enough. I like it.
Or 6.5. I think it's 6.5.
Let's go ORU. I'll move to my floater, and that's being poor because if you watch the news at all, banks are failing all across the country, I guess. But it doesn't really matter to me. I don't have very much money, so it doesn't really affect me. So I guess I'll just
You're not at the FDIC insurance threshold.
Yeah, I haven't hit that $250,000 clip yet, so I'm a long way from
my only thing about that, and we're not going to turn this into a fucking economy analyst show. I don't think anybody.
Which would be hilarious if we did.
It's the 3 of us trying to dissect that would be priceless. We might be onto something actually. The 3 of us talking politics and news would just be joke.
Figure out a lot of world problems.
I do think I don't know. It's one of those like how does the insurance amount never change? Like it's been the same amount since like the mid 2000s, I think. It's like maybe 2005, 2006, maybe even longer, possibly. But, that's a long time in the way the economy and inflation and things have progressed throughout the years that threshold hasn't changed one bit. I don't know. I find it interesting.
I have no idea about any of this bank stuff, but how do banks not have enough money to pay out everybody from the bank?
Because that money that they're using, they invest. So they take that money and invest that money, and the idea is that they're that's how they're gonna make the money to run their banking businesses off the profits of their investments, and most of that's secured theoretically by the FDIC insurance and then other provisions in place. But
2006, Matt, FDIC. So yeah, it's been 17 years.
Close. Did I say?
Yeah,
I think I might have said 5.
Zach, do you remember in It's a Wonderful Life where George Bailey's like, yeah, I have the money, but it's in his house and he's paying it off with interest and it's in their house. Like that's how banks don't have that kind of money on hand.
That's wild.
I got all my financial news from It's a Wonderful Life, which was made in 1941. So
I don't see any fault here. So I think we're good.
My floater, though, is sports all day. Starting Thursday about noon. You'll have it from noon to about midnight. for 4 days straight, or 3 days straight, pretty much. There'll be games on Saturday, Sunday, but not as much. It's the best 4 days that you can have.
Can I combine my floater in with yours, Zach, then? Because mine was going to be specifically Saturday. The calendar on Saturday is dynamite. We got round of 32 games on Saturday, starting at like 11:15. You have the UFC 286 in the UK, and that starts at like 1 in the afternoon. So it's daytime pay-per-view UFC.
Is that Leon Edwards?
Leon Edwards, Usman, the rematch, the trilogy, I should say, for the welterweight belt. I like Leon Edwards to get it done again, boys. I'm just going to tell you, he's a live fucking dog again, plus 205, I think, on DraftKings right now. So I do like Leon Edwards there. But Saturday is going to be one of those days where, like, the stars align for sports. College hoops all day, like Zach said. You got a good UFC pay-per-view card. Got a bunch of, NBA, NHL going. It's, World Baseball Classic on Saturday. You can't go wrong.
It's just a great time of year for sports, right?
Yeah,
you got like
March and April are both very good months.
Oh, they're the best. They are the best, Zach. These, I've already talked to my wife, and these next, starting Thursday, I'm like, well, just so you know, like I'll probably be over at Zach's or down in the basement. And if you need me in either place, I'll be in one of the two. So if I'm not downstairs, you'll know where I'm at. So it's the best. With that being said, let's just keep it rolling on the sports train. We'll hop into the TCF Sports Minute. We have got to start with the Bears trading the number 1 overall pick to the Panthers.
Cue the music.
I will love it. Ryan Poles he's king of Chicago right now. With what they got DJ Moore, who is better than any free agent wide receiver that you could sign.
By far.
They just moved back to the 9th pick. They got a 2nd round pick, and they got, I think, a 25 next year's.
They got next year's
pick,
first,
which could be bad. Which
next year's first, and then the 25 second as well.
Because Carolina's not going to be very good next year.
You would assume that, especially if they're going to be, playing a rookie quarterback, that they're not going to be.
And that pick's not
a playoff
protected.
Team, most likely. Not a protected pick at all. And then, it's one of those scenarios you hope a building team maybe is in the same shoes that the Bears are in this year, where they're, trying to play for, growth as opposed to.
Well, they just got rid of their best wide receiver, and they're going to go with most likely a rookie quarterback. Who did they just sign?
Oh, Andy Dalton, wasn't it?
Was it Andy Dalton? Yeah, it was Andy Dalton.
Yikes. I don't.
Did you just check that out?
You got to figure CJ Stroud is what the betting favorite is right now.
Because the Bears play the Panthers this year.
And I like Stroud. I think Stroud could take a little time to get like fully acclimated to the NFL game, though. I think Stroud's going to be really good, though.
Yeah, I think they did what we talked about on the show last week, on how much they'll get. And I'll be out from an outsider's perspective. They got a haul. They got a huge haul out of that. And there's no saying, you can't continue to make moves with all the picks.
I'm much happier with DJ Moore than a 25 first. And I know that was the other speculation, was that Carolina kept pushing the 25 first instead of Moore, and the Bears held firm. And I think, it was either going to be him or that Burns, that D lineman. That, I think that sounded like Poles wanted, was either Burns or Moore. And either one of those guys is going to be huge pieces to this rebuild. So I love the move. Couldn't be happy.
And then obviously
love their signings too.
Sorry,
I was just getting to that, Maddie. 4 big signings on the first couple days of free agency. Going out, get Edmonds, Davis, Walker, and Edwards. Obviously a lot of money, but when you have $90 million in cap space, spend the money.
They pretty much got 3 defensive players for the price of Roquan Smith.
Yeah. And Edmonds, it seems like, is a better fit for what Eberflus likes and is linebackers than what Roquan is. Not that he's a better player than Roquan, but just a better scheme fit. So I'm going to trust them there. I'm a dipshit that lives in Northern Illinois. So, what am I?
Well, the thing was, after the season started, Roquan did not want to be there.
Right.
It didn't
seem like Roquan was a fit with the front office and the coaching staff.
There was no coming together of the Bears and Roquan Smith after the season.
That's
started.
Fine. And Roquan got his
he got a lot of money.
Bag. He got his bag. He got more money than Edmonds did. So that's fine. He's a better player probably. What I'm just happy about is, like you said, with that money that they saved on Roquan and what they would have theoretically had to pay, they got 3 players out of it essentially, and a comparable player for the scheme. So I think it's a win-win there.
So going back a little bit to the draft pick, Bears sitting at 9, and I just pulled up the first mock draft I could. So a couple scenarios here. Obviously, Matt, before the show, you were talking about them taking the Skarnowski kid,
Skarnowski from Northwestern. Is there a more Bears fit than Skarnowski from Northwestern?
Now, I agree. I think that should be the pick, but I'm going to give you a couple names sitting around that pick. Would you be happy with these or not? Tyree Wilson, the edge rusher from Texas Tech.
1,000% yes.
Next one, they have Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from Oregon.
Sure. Yep. No problem.
Zach, anything on him?
Love it.
And then here's the one they have him slotted at 11th, but would bolster the wide receiver room is Quentin Johnston from TCU.
I love Quentin Johnston, but not anymore. Not at that spot.
Now here's my last one.
DJ Moore's your guy for the next 3 years. He's on an affordable deal for the next 3 years. He's your number one. That's just what it is. I wouldn't take use a top 10 pick on that.
Here's the last one for both of you. If he falls this deep, Jalen Carter's still on the board.
1,000,000,000% yes. Yes.
Yep. I'm taking that 100%.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's awful what happened.
Awful what happened.
They're probably going to – the process is going to have to go through probably before the draft or whatever, but he's going to be drafted.
Yeah, somebody's going to take him.
So it's one of it's one of those situations. Yes, it's horrible what happened. He made a dumb mistake. I don't think that the mistake he made indicates the type of person he is. So I don't think it's one of those that screams that's a bad person. No, that's a person who made a really, really horrible decision, but not a it wasn't a malicious decision towards anybody. I don't think.
I don't disagree.
Very, very sad what happened.
I don't disagree. Anything else on the Bears, gentlemen?
Just wait. I guess we just wait and see the next few days because this all happened on day 1. They made no moves day 2. So just kind of to see what happens here in the next few days. And then the draft is at the end of April, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When can players officially sign?
No idea.
I think Thursday this week. So that'd be the 5th, 16th.
Yeah. But like you said, now all you can really do is wait. Let's go ahead and move into some hoops. We've got the Bulls sitting at 31 and 36. As of right now, as the time we record this, they are tied for the 10 seed with the Washington Wizards. Technically in the 11th seed, based on, I think it's on win percentage. But guys, we just keep having the same damn conversation about this team. It's the exact same thing. Do you want to see the Bulls make the play-in tournament?
I guess it'd be fun. I don't know really what else.
It's
going to do.
I don't know if it would be fun. I don't know if it would turn out the way we want.
That's very true.
At least we've had some interesting stuff in those play-in games in the past 2 years they've done it.
It's
we're going to hope for that, just to get smacked in the mouth by either Boston or Milwaukee. I mean, that's all, we all know
that team just does nothing to get you going.
No.
You just don't. Like, there's nothing that just gets you excited about this roster at all at this point.
No.
Yeah, and we said last, like, it was fun, that little spark, Pat Bev brings you that first weekend, and then it's like, oh, we remembered that we're the Bulls and we're just an average basketball team, and here we
This
sit.
is another one. There's got to be something else off the floor that's percolating in this team. Doesn't it feel like that?
Yeah. I said it last. Unfortunately, I think this is going to cost Billy Donovan his job, but because I really don't. I'm probably just being a homer here.
What's he done?
But like, I don't know if I look at this team on the floor and think Billy Donovan's the problem.
No, but
fair. But
what
what's he
happens.
done?
That's the NBA.
Yeah, it's the business side of it for sure.
What has Billy Donovan brought this team? Once Ball was gone, Lonzo Ball was gone. It was, curtains for that team.
Yeah,
how is that the case? Great player, but how does your team just become inept?
Like, it's such a fall from where we were.
From where we started last season to now.
It was a switch flipped. As soon as Lonzo went down, this team just fucking fell apart. I don't get that.
I don't understand what they're gonna do. Like you said, they make the playoffs. What does it matter?
Yeah, I think everybody with two brain cells to rub together knows that best case scenario, this ends in a 4-1 beating by the Celtics, the Bucks, name anybody at the top. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to get out of the first round. So
the only thing is, all these games are fun to watch at the end of the season. They all mean a lot. Yeah. If you're trying to make the playoffs, even though there's 10 teams who make the playoffs in the East. And the Bulls, who you would think should be in that top 10.
That's a roster that should be in the top 10 of a conference in the NBA.
If Zach LaVine is what he wants to be paid or what he's getting paid, we got to be better.
Remember when we thought like a year ago how good he was?
Yeah. And now he's just not. Also, speaking of disappointments, the Blackhawks, they can't even lose correctly. Yeah. As of right now, they have 67 points. They are, 22, 38, and 6. They're just awful. Just awful. And like I said, they're not even the worst team in the NHL.
They're awful, but not awful enough.
Not awful enough, yeah. Maddie, you got anything on the Blackhawks? Because I really don't think Connor Bedard's coming to the UC.
Oh, I don't think the Gary Bettman lottery ball is going to fall the way.
You did say that.
Due to certain circumstances that have happened. So I don't think the Hawks are going to be getting the 1 anyway. 2 possibly if they're bad enough. But where I think he's making a mistake is when the Blackhawks are good, that's good for the NHL too. There's a reason why there was an outdoor game in Chicago or involving Chicago every year for what felt like a decade, and they draw. When the Hawks are good, the Hawks fans come out, and when they're not, they don't.
But the problem now, Maddie, is Patrick Kane is gone.
Yeah,
that was one of the things
I haven't even been able
Patrick
to.
Kane, he's so fun to watch, and now it's like, now he's gone.
I haven't even gotten to talk about that trade on our show, and that thing, dude. What? I don't know. It was just like the final, it was an end. It was a true end of like a period of my life that was very, very entertaining and very, very, very fun. Maggie and I did so many things revolving around Blackhawks games, Blackhawks playoff games, going downtown to random games because we didn't have a kid at the time. We just, we could just go down on it a lot. We went to a Western Conference final game against the Kings one year. It was just, we did a ton of stuff revolving around Blackhawks games. Out to Boston for a game, went to St. Louis for a game. So it was a big part of like the last like 15 years of my life. And then now it's just gone. It's just so odd. It's just so odd that it went from they were such a fun organization to like watch and to cheer on from the side. And now it's just like they're so far away from being that again.
Yeah, and like that's a great way to put it, man. Because like, yeah, the product on the ice, and then you still have, like you said earlier, with the off the ice stuff. I wouldn't blame Gary Bettman for not wanting the Blackhawks to have the number one pick.
No, I mean they haven't proven to be like the greatest of people in the world. Or for at least their front office, and some of the staff that they've had around. It's obvious.
It sucks because I'll be honest. Like I'm still very much a fair weather hockey fan, but like when they got Kane and Tays, coming up through the pipeline, my dad said, like, hey, we might want to start watching hockey now. And this was after the 2005 lockout. That was kind of the big time that changed it, and that really turned me into a Blackhawks fan and following it and getting deeper and deeper into it. And like you said, it's almost just like that's all gone now. You're looking up $5 seats at the United Center for a bad hockey team, and it just seems like that's so long ago. But at least on a little bit more of a positive side, baseball is right around the corner. We got spring training rolling through. Cubs in Cactus League play sitting at 10-6. Not that any of this matters, but they are in 4th place in the Cactus League, followed in 5th place by the White Sox at 8-6. Obviously, things are a little weird right now with the World Baseball Classic, but we're a couple more weeks away from opening day, fellas. How are we feeling about baseball season coming up here?
I'm excited. This Cubs team is going to be fun to watch this season.
They're going to be competitive at the very least. They have a competitive roster. And I don't think the rest of that division – I think the Cardinals have a loaded team. The Cardinals are going to be very, very good. It's going to be basically their division to lose. I don't think outside of them, though, there's a team that strikes a ton of fear in your hearts. Milwaukee's got good pitching, but their lineup is suspect, I think, in a lot of spots. And I think the Cubs have some of those guys that you just feel like they have that ability to get the hit when you need it. They have ability to it's just I feel like Cody Bellinger is going to have a little bit of a bounce back. I'm not saying he's going to be back to the MVP caliber player. I think he's going to have a very, very good year.
To me, it's the guys that are on like prove it years. You know what I mean? Like yes, Cody Bellinger.
I like that. I like prove it guys because they're hungry.
Yeah. And even like Dansby Swanson, I mean, a lot of the national media is like, oh, he was, and I think we could all agree he wasn't the best shortstop available, but like a lot of people were saying, oh, he can't play outside of Atlanta,
Strikes out too much, blah, blah,
blah. Yeah, he can't do it without the big boppers around him that he had for the Braves.
I don't care. Just come do it here. I don't give a shit. I don't care what anybody says. Just come do it.
Yeah.
We need you.
And it's kind of, to me, it was the same thing with Tyone. Like, people were saying, that he was what he was. I mean, he wasn't great as a Yankee, but he had the Yankees lineup behind him. So that's
another guy though on one of these scrappy veteran-loaded teams that you like seeing in your 3-4 spot is Tyone. Like he's of that same ilk. He's like the high prospect coming up. He was I think the number 2 pick when he was drafted by Pitt, and then just kind of got hurt. Pitched well at a lot of times. When he was younger. Got some injuries
on some awful teams,
on some bad teams. Then he, when the Pittsburgh was pretty good with him and Cole, so he's been through it. He's one of those guys that I think he fits that mold, but a little bit more of another prove it guy. I think it's a good team I think it's a good fit for David Ross too.
I agree. Last thing on that, Zach, I don't know if we talked about this last week. Maddie, chime in. What are your guys' thoughts on Wilson Contreras' comments within the last couple of weeks about the Cubs organization? Zach, I know you had some strong words.
Good riddance.
Not a fan. I don't understand what's the point of saying that. There's no point.
Because he's trying to be Molina. He's trying to be Yadi Molina now.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be the new Molina.
You want to win a series here. We love you here. Like you can come back. You'll get a beer forever, but you can't say something like that.
Fraud. Fraud. The fans fucking showed out for him last year. Whatever he fucking wants to say the organization did to him.
Give him like 7 goodbyes. He never left.
By taking those shots to the organization, he's taking the same shots to the fans. So eat a dick. That's my stance. He's dead to me.
Last thing in the sports corner, the World Baseball Classic, boys. USA sitting 2-1, tough loss to Mexico, but a big bounce back against Canada. I believe they have Colombia left, if I'm not mistaken. Do we think the USA is going to win this thing? I don't. I really don't think they have the pitching to. If I'm being completely honest,
they do either. But they have the offense to stay in games. But these games, they get out of hand.
I don't think they have the fire that some of the other squads have.
No,
like
not at all.
Puerto Rico and the Dominican, man, those two teams want to fucking rip your throat.
Dude, even the Mexican crowds were insane.
Team Mexico wants to fucking
looks so much fun.
They're another team. Those teams are ready to fucking roll, dude. They look tough.
And I mean, even we have Team Japan is just rolling.
Yeah,
right now.
They're a machine. They're a machine.
Oh, it is fun to watch. I will say. I really don't think so. Right now, everybody's got to give a prediction. Who do you think's going to win this thing?
Puerto Rico,
Venezuela, maybe.
Oh, Venezuela looked really good the other night.
Puerto Rico.
My only issue, Zach. My only issue with Venezuela. You know who their manager is, right? No. Never mind. Not Venezuela. Never mind.
Yachty is Puerto Rico, I think.
Is he Dominican?
I'm not sure.
Yachty's the manager for somebody. Yeah. As long as he doesn't win, I don't care. I despise that man.
Manager.
Oh yeah, it is Puerto Rico. Yep. So yeah, I hope Puerto Rico doesn't.
I'm
win.
like, wait a minute. I thought he retired.
No, he's a manager. I like the Venezuela
got a basketball tournament to fucking watch too.
You know what I got to say, though?
Attack a referee.
To Great Britain, even USA and Canada, let's get some better jerseys.
Yeah, those Great Britain ones are bad.
Those are awesome.
I'm not a fan. Well, they look like they were made for like a T-ball team,
like a Wiley. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Japan's going to win this thing going away. They look dominant right now, and they also might have the best jerseys in the tournament. So,
well, they also have one of the best hitters and pitchers in the same person.
Yeah, hitting moonshots off the scoreboard.
Pitched 4 innings.
He's a stud. It's unbelievable.
If I was the Cubs, I would give him fucking here's a blank check.
Oh,
come run the city.
I think a lot of teams are going to try and do that.
Well, I think at that point you just got to sell them on your organization, so that should go well.
Yeah. Well.
Hi, I'm Tom Ricketts.
Yeah, can't wait for that pitch. But before we move on, I do know something they could throw at Ohtani. Maybe like a lifetime supply of Connect Roasters coffee, because it's the best damn coffee you're going to find, all right? I'm sure that would sweeten the pot a little bit. But they make great coffee. You're darn right.
Pot a little bit.
You're darn right. They work with our guy Dom Frederick and Ian Happ. Those guys wouldn't drink bad coffee. They wouldn't promote bad coffee, so you know it's quality stuff. Head to their website, Connect Roasters Coffee. ConnectRoasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Do yourself a favor. It's starting to get nice out. You know, a little spring cleaning. Get rid of the old crappy coffee and replace it with some good quality stuff. ConnectRoasters.com at Connect Roasters on Twitter. Well, you know what you're going to need that coffee for? That's for the next couple days of the NCAA tournament. Let's go ahead, boys. Let's jump into our NCAA tournament preview. We all have our brackets ready. I don't want to go through every single game of the first 2 rounds, so let's go through our Sweet 16. Who you got? I'll go ahead and start. I'm going to start top left. Sweet 16, I've got Alabama, Virginia, and then Creighton, Arizona in the is that the West? Yeah, it's got to be the West. Or no, South. I'm sorry. I'll go.
It's right there in big bold letters.
Well, I'm looking at it on my computer underneath the camera, so that was my fault. Moving down to the bottom left in the East, I've got Purdue. Maddie, I'm sorry, I got Duke. And then I've got Kansas State and Marquette. Going to the top right in the Midwest, I've got Houston, and here's one of my big ones. I got Drake in the Sweet 16.
Drake.
And then Iowa
Dang.
State and Texas A&M. Bottom right in the West, I've got Kansas, UConn, Gonzaga, UCLA. I kind of hate that already with 1, 2, 3, and 4. So those are my Sweet 16. What do you guys got?
Matt, you can go.
Going in the South, I got Bama versus Furman. Baylor.
Woo-hoo!
I love the Paladins. Baylor and then Arizona. I have Purdue. I have Oral Roberts. I have Kentucky and I have USC. Going to the Midwest, I got Houston, Miami, now Pitt, and then Texas. And then I've got in the West, I got Kansas, St. Mary's, the Zags, and UCLA. The West is a fucking machine, dude.
Yeah, the West is tough, dude. West is no joke. Zach, who do you got?
All right, so I'll go Alabama. I like San Diego State. Oh, no, wait. I can't do that.
I do, too. I like
Yeah,
that,
you
too.
can.
Yeah, wait. San Diego State. I kind of like Creighton. I don't know what about them, but I like Creighton. I think Arizona. Arizona has been playing really well. And that's not really the hardest teams they have to play. Missouri, Purdue, I think, is going to make it pretty far. I'm going to go Oral Roberts. I just see them beating Duke and then going on a run.
Tennessee's banged up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Kentucky. Oh, wait. Yeah, Kentucky to advance there to the Sweet 16, and then Marquette on the East. So I'm on to the Midwest. Oof. I'm going to have to go with Houston, but I almost went Iowa. Then I go Indiana. I thought Mississippi State could have a chance, but they just lost. So I'm going to have to go Iowa State.
I'm with you there. I had Mississippi State originally in the Sweet 16. I changed it since they lost.
I'm going to go Penn State after that. I think they're playing really well and could catch Texas at a bad time. Let's go Illinois. They're going to make a little run here. St. Mary's, I think, is gonna make it to the Sweet 16 there. They have played very well, even though in the conference championship game did not look good. Oh, goodness. Gonzaga, I think, is going to make a little run here. Maybe them not being the 1 seed maybe will help them this year.
Definitely. I thought so, too.
And you know what? Let's get crazy. Let's go Northwestern.
I like it. Let's go ahead and jump to the Elite Eight. I've got Virginia beating Alabama and Arizona beating Creighton. So I got Virginia, Arizona there. And then moving down to the East, I got Purdue and Kansas State, the 1-3 matchup there. In the Midwest, I've got Houston and Texas A&M. And then in the West, I got 1 and 2, Kansas, UCLA over there. I do think, and like we're recording this Tuesday night, we still have some time to finagle our brackets. I'm pretty well set in a lot of these. But I do think that I want to think that, like you said earlier, Zach, with Gonzaga not having the pressure of being a 1 seed, they've got just as good a shot as anybody, even though they're not playing the best ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they dominated their conference championship, if I remember correctly.
Matt, do you want to do yours? Let me go.
I'll go. I got Bama and Arizona both winning. Bama beating Furman, Arizona beating Baylor. I have Purdue beating Oral Roberts. I have Kentucky beating USC. I have Miami beating Houston. The Longhorns beating Pitt. I've got Kansas beating St. Mary's and Gonzaga beating UCLA. And that's a game I probably can't wait for the most. If that's like the matchup I'm most excited to hopefully see in the Sweet 16 will be Gonzaga UCLA.
That has the makings of being one of the best games of the tournament without
It's a
doubt.
coin flip to me, and I think whichever team in the Elite Eight's going to be, I assume Kansas, it's going to be a great game there too. So
For sure.
that whole region, it's a bloodbath.
Agreed. Zach, who you got?
I'm gonna go Alabama, Creighton. Oh no, wait. Yeah, Creighton's down there. And then Purdue. I just don't know who can stop them. And then I'm gonna go Marquette. Marquette has been playing really well. I saw Marquette play also, so I like that. Indiana. Let's go Indiana. I think they're gonna go on a little run here. They've been playing well.
Zach likes the Hoosiers.
Love them.
I mean, Trace Jackson Davis is a fucking stud.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna take a team that, might as well take a team that's got a stud.
Very true. And then let's go Penn State. Let's go Big Ten. Penn State making a little run here.
Zach's got a Big Ten final in the Midwest.
Trying to shake it up a little bit. Let's go Illinois. You know, boom. Let's just go Illinois. We're gonna keep it going. Illinois. And then
Please finish this then.
Oh yeah, Northwestern.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew that. All right, Final Four, real quick. I've got Arizona and Kansas State in the Final Four. I've got Arizona getting past Virginia and Kansas State beating Purdue. I'm the opposite. The Big Ten scares me as opposite of Zach here. And then I've also got Houston beating Texas A&M and Kansas beating UCLA. So my Final Four is Arizona, Kansas State, and Houston and Kansas. So 2-1 seeds, a 2 and a 3.
I got Alabama beating Arizona in the South. I got Purdue beating Kentucky in the East, another game that I think is a coin flip. I have the Longhorns of Texas beating Miami in the Midwest. I've got Gonzaga narrowly edging out Kansas in the West, with Gonzaga beating Texas on the right side of the bracket. Bama beating Purdue on the left side, setting up a Bama-Gonzaga title game.
Zach, who you got?
I got Bama, Purdue. I'm just going with my Final Four. I'm not going to say who they played because I just have it looking on here. And then let's go Indiana. Indiana.
And then you got Illinois Northwestern in the Illinois State Championship out west.
Northwestern's going to win that game.
All right. So in my title,
I got Indiana in the championship game versus Alabama. Alabama wins it all.
I've got Arizona beat. That's wild. I love it. That's what the craziness
March
is.
Madness?
Yeah.
Might as well live a little.
Yeah. I've got Arizona beating Kansas State, and I've got Kansas beating Houston. Arizona, Kansas for the title, and I got Arizona winning it all. So
I got the Zags beating Bama.
No, you think Mark Few gets it done?
I think this is the year when no one kind of expects him to probably do it. It might also have something to do that I've got a plus 2,100 future on them. So
no, that does help.
Hey, man, I got to ask you a question. How does that happen when they lose to Northwestern, though?
It doesn't happen. The other one I got, unfortunately, is they stuck Gonzaga and Kansas in the same region. I got Kansas plus 1,000 too, so irritating that
That's
they
the
stuck
tough thing
them
about
both in the
taking
same
futures
region.
before
Yeah,
is if they land on the same side, you're like, well, crap.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
are those the
A Zags Kansas Elite Eight game would be very good for me though, because at least
hedge
it
your way out of that?
gives me a good hedge in the Final Four, possibly.
Are those the only two futures that you have, Maddie?
The only two that I have alive now.
I had let's see, I've got 4 futures. I think I put these in January 1st. I got Kansas, Tennessee, which doesn't look great. Houston and Purdue. So I had 3 1 seeds. I like my odds.
Look at you, Boomy knows ball.
Yeah, look at me. I really need Purdue to win it because that was a free $5 bet, and that nets me like $48 free dollars. So that would be nice. Zach, you got any futures out there on this one?
No, I just go game by game.
All right, I respect it. What
Yeah,
are there any other big upsets that you guys got? I think the most like common one is the Oral Roberts Duke, and that's one I hear talk about the most. So that scares me the most. I do think Oral Roberts is going to keep it close, but are there any ones that jump out, on paper to you guys? Because there's always a 12-5. Everybody talks about that. I think
I love Charleston and I love
Furman. That's what I was thinking.
My other problem is I really like San Diego State too. So it's like all.
My only problem with San Diego State is the Mountain West does not, in the last decade, has done horrible in this tournament.
Yeah, whatever. At some point, you just got to take the teams that you see.
I'm also saying Penn State. I think Penn State's a 10 seed.
I don't know if it's my MAC bias, but I know this isn't good for Zach's bracket, but I kind of like Kent State in the first round against Indiana. And then obviously I got Drake in the Sweet 16. So that one's going out a little bit on a limb. Outside of that,
I like Florida Atlantic a little bit. I think I have Purdue in the Final Four, but I think Florida Atlantic, if they beat Memphis, I think they're going to give Purdue all they want.
See, and I think the same thing about Memphis too. I think whoever wins that game is going to give Purdue.
I should have excluded Memphis from that because I think either team is going to give Purdue a run for their money. I think both of them are bad matchups. Florida Atlantic can score. Memphis can score. They're both not going to be, the size of Edie is not going to overwhelm them just because both teams can run a little bit. They're both athletic. Florida Atlantic's got a sneaky good team that can score. So I think they're a dangerous team for Purdue because you just feel like you always have to worry about the Purdue meltdown that always feels inevitable. You know what I mean?
So I have a question. Before we move on, I just saw this. It's Pittsburgh's first NCAA win since, or NCAA tournament win since, like 2014. Is that considered an NCAA tournament win?
Yeah. It is, but it shouldn't be. It's stupid. It should be like a quarter of a win or a half win.
Well, yeah, because you're playing a team that's at your level.
It's not a tournament game. Come on, it's a play-in game. It's a play-in game.
I don't disagree. Let us know who your picks are. Oh, last one I did have, Matt. I know you have him in the Sweet 16. I like Baylor. I don't necessarily trust Baylor. UC Santa Barbara, I would be willing to take a little flyer on.
Boomy, how can the people get involved in ours?
Head on over to Twitter, Facebook. There is a link on our page. We are doing a TCF bracket through ESPN. Follow the link, follow the instructions, and we're going to keep it just like old school, man, just like an old school office. If
you can't bracket. Find the link, just message one of us and we will send it out to you. You have to be in before, I think, the first game on Thursday.
Correct. $20.
I know the person. I got a text earlier today from a friend who said, "Are the TCF brackets coming this year?" So,
but we're on Twitter. Brackets this year, 2 brackets.
Yep. Limit
of 2. How about is that 2 per household? I just need to throw that out for a certain person who lives upstairs with me.
Oh no, yeah, you and your wife can both have.
She might want to get okay. All right, so my 2 are not limited to including her then as well.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Per person.
Per person.
Right. And 20 ahead, right? 20 each.
20 a bracket. Yep. Follow the directions. I think we put it on Twitter. I don't know if we put it on Facebook just yet, but by the time this episode comes out, it will be on Facebook. I promise you that. I will do that right
If
after.
you've never really watched college basketball, it's still fun to do. It gives you a reason to watch the games. And it is $20 a person, so you can make some good money.
And just do what Zach did. Zach, did you or did you not just completely,
Yeah, I'm going to have to
wing
look that
one?
back just to know what I just said.
Yeah, I had a gut feeling. And I mean, you never know. That's the beauty of it. So check that out and hop in with us. Let's have some fun here. We'll be updating as the tournament goes on.
It's been a wild college basketball season. A lot of number ones have changed. It's going to be a fun tournament.
I think this is the year that like just the wackiness. And I was talking to my boss about this the other day. It's like, people doing Calcutta drafts and stuff, like it's all like this year feels like the biggest crapshoot. And that's the beauty of it. So let's have some fun. Let's get into it. Hop in, $20, follow the directions, and let's make this a good March. With that being said, let's go ahead and move into our team builder this week. There is a member of this show that has a problem with the team builder. Matt, would you like to voice your concerns about the team builder that we have this week? We are building a March Madness squad.
2005, 2009, 2017, almost last year. I'm not seeing a player from a team that's won 3 national titles in the last 23 years.
In the panel's defense, I did not make this. I stole this from the internet. So you'll have to take this up with Champ
But we got
Sports.
Trey Burke, thank God.
He hit a big shot in the tournament. I think that's what it's all about.
You're right, a shot. Oh, you know what? I hope someone spends $5 on Zion Williamson.
Oh, I'm not that. I'm an idiot.
Because they almost lost in the second round of ECU. Because let's not forget, this says build your March Madness squad. So that means including chokes. So include all the chokes in there.
That is fair. Does anybody want to do their team first?
I'll go first.
All right, Zach, let's hear it.
I got to get 5 players and $15 here.
Yep.
Let's start off with Steph Curry. $4.
Yeah.
I know it's a little expensive, but I'm going Steph Curry. And then let's go Denzel Valentine. He wasn't very good for the Bulls, but was very good in college. A 4-year guy, right?
Yes.
Gotta love it. So I'm at $6 now. This is going to be hated, but you need a guy that everyone hates. Let's go Grayson Allen for $2 here.
Keep him.
I hate him. I hate him too. But guess what? That's what you need on a team that's going to win the tournament. So that gets me at $8.
8. You got 7 left and 2 spots.
How much left?
$7.
All right, then let's go. Let's go big here. Let's go Carmelo.
All right, you're at 12. You got $3 left.
Let's go Doug McDermott. A lot of 3-point shots are going to go up during this game.
You guys are going to shoot the rock.
I think it's a pretty good team.
Matt, any concerns about Zach's squad here?
No.
Does anyone need me to get rid of the bottom so they could? You guys know all the players?
Yeah, I know. I got it pulled up here.
Dollar is
Frank Mason, Lonzo Ball, Evan Turner, Jared Sullinger, and Frank Kaminsky.
There you go.
Matt, do you want to go or you want me to?
I'll go.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm going to go with I want 2 $5 guys.
You do what you got to do to start off.
I know, but it cuts your nuts out too. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Anthony Davis and Carmelo Anthony. The Carmelo Anthony Davis show. If you watch The Dozen, you'll get that joke.
Yep.
Carmelo Anthony just basically put Syracuse on his fucking back. That was unbelievable what he did in the national title game as a freshman and in the whole tournament. Anthony Davis, same thing as a freshman, carried Kentucky. Him and Michael Kidd Gilchrist. That was a ridiculous Kentucky squad that won the title for Calipari. So that already maxes out a lot of my money right there in the $10. So now I got to go cheap. I'm going to go leadership. I'm going to go another guy who helped make a deep run to a national title game, Frank Kaminsky. So that gets me to what, $11?
Yep.
I'm going to need another dollar player somewhere. So give me you know what? I kind of like Frank Mason. He's just such a traditional college basketball player.
And he'll be around for like 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, you get like 38 years of eligibility from him. So that leaves me what with that's $12.
It's 12, yep.
I'm gonna take another ball handler because I don't have any shooters. I'm gonna take Trae Young at $2. I know it wasn't a deep run for him, but I'm gonna take Trae Young.
I don't hate it. My only concern about you, I guess you got Frank in the middle. You do have more size than I thought.
I got Frank in the middle, Anthony Davis at the 4, Anthony at the 3, Trae Young at the 2, Frank Mason at the 1.
Man, I don't hate it. Zach, any complaints on Matt's team? They're not going to shoot the rock as much as you guys from the outside.
Who's going to stop Carmelo Anthony and Anthony Davis?
Right. The interior game is Frank Kaminsky can shoot a little though.
Step out, hit you, couple here or there.
Yeah, come on.
All right, I'll go then. Let's see. I'm going to go with my $5 pick. I'm going to go with Jimmer. Jimmer had kind of a wild tournament run. He didn't make it as deep, but he, like you said about Carmelo leading Syracuse that year, Jimmy kind of did the same thing in his last NCAA tournament. He had like 35, 32, and 34 in the 3 games that he played in that tournament. Ended up bowing out to Florida basically by himself. At my 4, I'll go Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker in the month of March is ridiculous. So that puts me at 9.
Can I add that's where I was going to go if I didn't take the 2 $5 guys? I think Kemba Walker's a lock at the $4 range. His run was incredible.
Yeah, the conference tournament into the NCAA tournament, he was a freak.
What'd you say, Zach?
With the tournament he had and then going into that.
Yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, the Big East tournament he put on was crazy.
Moving to my, I'll go Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield took a not very good Oklahoma team to a Final Four by himself, essentially. I need another ball handle. I don't know if I necessarily like. I'm not going to take Trae Young, Matt, because you took him. Not that we even play that, but Shabazz Napier was a really solid
Shabazz and Kemba. You got the UConn backcourt now.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So I've got $1 left. You know what?
Whoa.
Man, I don't necessarily. I'll go Evan Turner. Evan Turner had a solid college career. Didn't do a ton in the tournament, but I don't hate Evan Turner at all at Ohio State. So that's my least favorite pick. And if that's my least favorite pick at the $1 mark, I can live with that. I'm much more of an NBA Lonzo Ball fan than I was a UCLA Lonzo Ball fan. But I think I could say that.
I think those names are wrong.
Yeah, that is that.
That's not Evan Turner. That's Jared Solinger. And on the right side, that's Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, those names are wrong.
On the dollar
yes,
line.
they are. I didn't even notice that.
It's got Jared Solinger shown. That's Jalen Brunson.
Well, in that case, I'll switch from Evan Turner to Jalen Brunson if his picture.
I think that's a better pick anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Really nice.
It's got Evan Turner at the $4 range. Look at that, dude.
I was gonna say Evan Turner's in the $4.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is screwed up. Yeah, I'll take Jalen Brunson then
Well,
at the
good
dollar.
thing
I
no
feel
one can
really
see
good
that
about my
part.
squad.
Yeah, right. Good thing I already questioned the validity of this list already. This thing is just null and void.
Well, take it up with Champ Sports, not the guy who stole it from the internet. All right. Keeping it in the basketball theme, let's end things up today. We've got the TCF top 3, and I've got throwback college basketball uniforms. You could even keep temporary or contemporary ones if you really want, but there's some really, really good ones if you just Google throwback college basketball uniforms. Does anybody want the first pick?
I do.
Maddie.
I'm banking on you guys not being mean and taking North Carolina later.
You don't know me very well, do you?
Fine. I'm taking them then. Number 1. Fine. You're a jerk, though. You're a bad person for that. I'm taking them. The Argyle is a must.
I will go second.
That's a good pick, Maddie.
I'm big on them in the tournament. I love their jerseys. Indiana.
Fair enough.
I like their shooting pants, dude. The candy stripes.
The
man.
whole
Those
thing.
Those are legit.
And they have barely changed in 50 years, and there's something nice about that.
It's clean.
It is. It
As
is.
the
Reminds you
kids
of the
say.
movie Hoosiers.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, maybe because it's pretty much based in Indiana. You got me, man.
I got you on that one.
All right. I've got 2 here. Man, you guys know me. I'm a jersey freak. So I am going to go with just ones that I like. I got to go with the Larry Bird Indiana State, where they use the outline of Indiana for the eye. I'll take that in the first round.
I like it. I agree. But this Indiana's an ugly state to use. So, like, if your state looked better, like, it's just a weird state.
Well, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a fat state.
Yeah, it's just like a weird looking state there. I don't know. It's not. It's just blocky. I don't know. Like, could you imagine like Oakland University in Michigan, but making the fucking mitt from Michigan?
That'd be,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that would fit. That'd look cool. I'm onto something.
I like where you're going with this. I'm also going to take one that I ended up liking this team for like a decade for these jerseys and one player. I'm going to go with like the early 2000s Cincinnati Bearcats that had the blocks down the side, and they had the C with the paw print, and it was Kenyon Martin made me it fall. I have like old Cincinnati T-shirts, and like it felt like those went on a hot run for like 10 years where every high school team had those. So take one that I like the most.
I'm going to go with Kansas.
Classics as well.
You always see a Kansas jersey, you're like, that just looks cool. The blue one.
Zach, I think, is onto the simple and clean. That's very.
I don't need too much. I don't need
go.
I don't need Oregon that has like 8 different jerseys a year.
I do.
Give me the traditional staple. Give me the
all right, Matt, you got
staple.
2.
I like that. The one, it's a school I'm not a fan of at all, but for a retro jersey, the Michigan State with that Magic wore with the state, the script,
the script.
The white one I think was sick. It's, and then you know what? I did another team I don't like, but it's the white one too, the home UCLA, the white UCLA jersey. Talk about like it just pops like from like when you think college buckets and like just like I don't know, it's just the color scheme's great, but then the way the white looks, it's just a nice clean look too off the blue.
I agree. Those are good picks, Maddie. Zach, what's your last pick?
UConn.
Ooh.
Any particular one? Because they went through a stretch in the mid-90s with Ray Allen. Their uni
Kemba was in the tournament. I like those. I don't know if that's like dark blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I like the Ray Allen era, the late 90s. Those were.
They had a good run there from like basically the 90s till now. They've had a good uni going. Connecticut's a good pick.
They rarely miss because and it fits into Zach's team here. They don't get like super flashy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't try to do too much.
I agree.
My last pick, I'm kind of stuck here. I got some honorable mentions. But I'm going to go with also a school that I don't like. I'm going to go with the gold Florida State uniforms from the 90s. They kind of went off the beaten path.
It's almost like a champagne color, isn't it?
Yeah. The old Charlie Ward jerseys.
Yeah.
I hate Florida State.
With extra baggy to it.
Yeah, for sure. My honorable mentions, I had Loyola Marymount, like the Hank Gathers ones. Georgetown, obviously, no one brought those up. Like the Allen Iverson Georgetown ones. The UNLV Runnin' Rebels from the early 90s. And here's another one that kind of like was the first team I followed in college basketball, and that was like the Miles Simon and Mike Bibby Arizona Bearcats jerseys from like 97 or 98 or whatever it was. So those are my honorable mentions. Do you guys have any?
I liked UCLA. I like Illinois.
Yeah, that was another one I was going to bring up, was like the Flying Illini ones. Nice and simple. Maddie, any honorables?
I like Tennessee. I like the way their orange hits, I think, is cool. It might just be the way it hits off their stadium floor is cool. Colorado, but Colorado's color scheme is sick with the black and the gold.
Yeah.
It's just like you could do just about anything with that. The Colorado State recently went back to they would go back and wear like their unis from the 50s. They're like this blue color. Those were kind of weird, but I liked them.
Wait, Colorado State?
Yes,
I thought Colorado State was the one that was bringing back the green and orange. I thought Colorado was doing the blue.
No, it was Colorado State was it last year or 2 years ago? They had Roddy. They were wearing those. They were blue.
All right, I'm looking it up. I'm very, very intrigued here. Yeah, I like Colorado State. I think they're green and gold. They're green and orange, whatever color Colorado. Remember how in love we were with Colorado State last year?
You know what? I'm wrong. It was orange. It was their orange ones.
Yeah, I like those. Some people think they're gaudy.
Whose retro is blue?
Well, a lot of schools out west are doing the baby.
New Mexico State.
Yeah, there's a lot of schools out west that do the baby blue for like Native American heritage stuff.
That Colorado State orange one was cool.
Yeah,
and it's very weird because they didn't change their floor color because it was still the green.
Yeah. Any others, Zach, Maddie? Forgetting any others?
We could go through all of them.
Yeah, we could. We really could. I could do this all. I could do a whole podcast on jerseys. But we'll go ahead and wrap things up. We appreciate you joining us for episode 158. We'll be back a little bit more regularly with the basketball season winding down here. We are planning on filming a food review here at the end of the week, so hopefully next week we'll have that up. It's all sitting right back here. So make sure you check out the YouTube page, Typical Chicago Fans.
Don't forget to sign up for the TCF bracket. Is it just on it's on ESPN?
Yep, it's on ESPN. And if you do, make sure you put your name in the name of the bracket or your username, so I'm not hunting down user 1274832 trying to figure out who the hell you are, because I did that a lot last year and it drove me freaking nuts. So figure that part out. Check that out. It'll be on Facebook. It's on Twitter. We are on Facebook, Instagram. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. Follow it there. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Shout out to our sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Go check them out, connectroasters.com, and on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Wherever you get your podcast, subscribe, rate, and review. Wherever you get them, we are there. So make sure you check us out. I am on Twitter at BoomyTCF. We got Zach at ZLiliaTCF and Maddie at schools_01. Give us all a follow. We'll be covering the tournament quite a bit here this coming weekend. But thank you. We appreciate you joining us for episode 158 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.